Mummers, happy Friday, and we have one amazing guest today. We have Kate, who is a personal trainer and body sculpting masseuse, aren't you?
I am. Yes.
Amazing. So excited to have you on today because I've known you, since school?
30 odd years, Paisley. Can you believe that?
So, yeah, we had our GCSEs and you got straight A's. And I was like, wow, this girl's so smart, just naturally talented.
I actually remember you were so stressed about your revision. Like, you were like a very scary person about your revision. Had little cards and everything. And I was like, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. What will be, will be. I did no revision. I was drunk and I passed every single one.
Do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Because back then, you saying you were drunk, none of us ever picked up on it.
Oh, no.
None of us knew.
Well, I remember as well, I think I took, Lisa Shove. We went out one night on a school night, and the next day we walked to school and I was drinking a bottle of Archers on the way to school. And I said, Lisa, you better have some. She had to go home because she was ill, and I stayed at school.
I remember that. I do remember. But the thing is, right, even though it was so bad, looking back now, I don't know, it was part of our culture growing up at school.
Really
it was just a bit like, oh, we're being a bit testing the boundaries, but nothing really was like, oh my God, like you guys are doing something completely out of the ordinary here.
I know, but when I look back, all the warning, because obviously now I know I'm an alcoholic and blah, blah, blah. When I look back, I can see all the warning signs because everything I did, I took to extremes. And I always wanted to, I was so wanted to be the centre of attention, if you like. Whereas when I wasn't drinking, I was actually quite quiet and shy. And like you said, I really enjoyed school. I found it quite easy. But put a drink in me, and I was turned into an absolute animal. You know, everyone else did. I mean, there was drugs as well, but I don't know if we're allowed to talk about drugs on here. But if you did one, I did five. You know. Yeah. It's that kind of thing, and I don't, and I don't really know how I started that, but it was like I was just crazy.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I'd love to see how many of our listeners that are obviously, we're in our 40s, aren't we, Kate? So Isla's 8 years younger, and her generation, I think, was very different. But I think we were maybe the last of that generation. Like, even when we go out now, we will go to the extreme and come in. Well, I hardly go out now anymore anyway. But Isla's like, how do you guys do it? But even I've got one of my exes actually did pass away. And he was an alcoholic. And at the time, I didn't know it. But he was a very successful businessman, run lots of companies around the world. And at the time, I just thought, we work really hard in the week, then we go out, socialise with our clients. It wasn't until I look back now, I was like, there was warning signs there. And I thought it was just part and part of our lifestyle, work hard, play hard. It was like the PR era, wasn't it? When everybody did drink, go for lunches at work, did lots of drinking at work as well, and it was just normalised.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my parents were big drinkers. My dad was a stockbroker, so he was always out with clients. He was always socialising, and my mum would buy me the Alco Pops, It was completely normal. It was absolutely fine, and I was drinking with my parents from a young age.
But then go on.
No, I didn't think anything of it, so my tolerance for alcohol was quite big for that age. I could drink a lot, and we just did it, didn't we? And
we did. I remember being at yours every night for dinner. I'd come over. I just loved being at your house. Your mum used to have all her incense burning. I remember that. Really, I think we've all got a little witch inside us.
There's lots of witches in my family.
So, how did you turn it all around, Kate? How did you realise?
Okay, so I mean, in between my GCSEs and now, obviously, I had 3 children. I fell pregnant with Ellie at 17, and I think at that point, getting pregnant with Ellie actually saved my life because I was mixing with awful people, really awful people. Horrible things were happening to me, and the drink and the drugs was getting bad. So I got pregnant with Ellie. It wasn't ideal, obviously. My kids are the best thing that's ever happened to me, as you know, your parents as well. But then after I had Ellie, all my school friends went to university. And I was I was a child trying to be a mum, and I was completely on my own, and I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I wanted to be the best mum ever. I really did. But I was so lonely, and I was still mixed up with wrong people. My life just kind of went into turmoil for years. And obviously I had 2 more children. I was battling alcoholism. I didn't know who to ask for help. Bad things were happening, and basically my life just went on and on and on and on. You know, when one bad thing happened, you'd think things can't get any worse, and it would. You know, I went into a refuge with the girls. I've survived horrific domestic violence because I had no self-worth. So I was attracting all these awful people that just used me and fed me drink and drugs. But it got to the point where I was not just mentally broken, I was physically broken. My body, 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, said, this is it, can't do any more. I damaged my liver. I nearly died from alcoholic seizures, and something in me just snapped, and it was like, I am never, ever, ever going to drink ever again. You know, I was on the floor praying for my girls, saying, please, because I thought I was going to die. I was like, please make sure my girls are all right, make sure they never have to go through the same thing. And from that point onwards, my life has just flipped. It's like a switch has gone off in my head. And since getting sober, everything's just got better, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think you're very strong for doing what you went through. I mean, I know we met up. You called me when Sadie was young or Sunny? I can't remember now. And we had a walk around the park.
it was bad.
Yeah, it must have been Sadie, and we had a little walk. And I was like, I felt I'd been thinking of you anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously we lost contact, I think, as well. Like, I went to uni, you were drinking, and just, you know, you lose contact a bit. But I feel bad and guilty myself as a friend, because I didn't recognise the signs, and it was kind of like, oh, well, she's just going off on that path. Whereas now I probably would have treated it a little bit differently and had a chat with you.
But I don't feel bad. Honestly, I know everyone goes through stuff, and everyone, I mean, a lot of my friends at the time, I now know, they stopped inviting me out because I was such a liability. And that's absolutely totally understandable, you know. So I was isolated with these awful boyfriends, you know, worst of the worst. So
brings back me. That was a big time though. So despite it all, we did. But I'm just glad you I mean, I think everybody does go through some sort of journey in their life. Like, I had struggled with depression in my 20s. But it's knowing how to see the signs, get out of it, help other people. And I think that's why we're here as well now, is to sort of give people a bit of positivity, because life can be a bit testing.
No, it really can. But I always remember this little thing at the back of my head was always there saying, don't give up, Kate. Don't give up. I mean, there has been points where I nearly did. I got sectioned, you know, after a suicide attempt. That was one of my lowest points, you know. But still, in the back of my head, when I was in the hospital, they were trying to sort of dose me up on meds and whatnot, and I refused them all. I was like, no, I can do this. I don't need to be a zombie. I can do this because I'm not effing giving up. And that's always been at the back of my mind. Don't give up, don't give up. And I've always, you know, obviously with my 3 daughters as well, I've always been thinking about them all the time. And luckily I've got to the point now where everything's really good, you know.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I think your past is the print of who you are. It makes you who you are, like, today. And I think everybody has a past. And I think it's like, no matter, like, in that time, people may be going through that really, but at some point in anybody's life, no life is perfect. Like, we have to go through that. And I think when people are looking perfection, you're never going to find it, because you have to go through stuff in life to make you who you are today. And what you've been through, you'll be able to help. At that time, you wouldn't think this, but now you're at a point where you can actually help a lot of other females or people like who could, you know, be on the brink of what you were before it got bad, and you could save a lot of people from what you've been through. So I always think in life, things are meant to happen for a reason, and if you're saved from that, like, it will shape you as well as a lot of people.
I mean, and I think as well, there's so much pressure on people, especially mums, dads, to be perfect. I mean, we've got social media now, and what you see on social media is all fake. I don't care what anyone says, it's fake. And a lot of mums have mum guilt, you know, because I do speak to a lot of mums. They're guilty about, you know, not taking their kids to the right after school clubs, not having as much money, not having the same car. They're guilty about the way they look, you know, because in my job, I have women coming in saying, I hate my stomach, I hate my lips. And I say to them, don't talk to yourself like, you know, like that. Don't. You know, you've had children, you've created these amazing lives. Please, just try to like yourself. I know it's hard to love yourself sometimes, but just appreciate what you've done and how amazing you are. I mean, it breaks my heart when people say things, oh, I hate this and I hate that. So that's part of my job now, just to help people realise you're amazing, you're beautiful, and don't put yourself down, you know, because the world is a really difficult place, really difficult, you know. And obviously I speak to some mums who do drink too much. They're not necessarily alcoholics, but every evening when the kids go to bed, they're opening up the wine just to try and chill out, you know.
That sounds like me a little. I did go through that, obviously, not anymore, because I'm pregnant again, so I kind of. But even, do you know what? I was craving it so much just to have a glass of wine again, because I was like, oh, you do get into a routine, and that routine is really easily like you get into it, and it is so easy just to crack a bottle of wine, and it is the norm, isn't it? For people to go, right, we'll have a bottle of wine with dinner, and but before you know it, you've had 5 bottles in a week. Like it
or in the night.
Oh my, yeah, but it can easily happen, and I think that it all being around us, Kate, as well. Like it's easy access, and it's an easy cure for your mental state at that point in time. So to like have a drink or, you know, a drug, whatever at that time, it kills you in that moment, but it doesn't. It makes the situation worse, doesn't it? Yeah.
So obviously, like through your experience, I know you were talking about you're looking to go into coaching as well, which I think would be phenomenal about, because you can help people with the signs. Like you said, a lot of mums are coming to you and saying they're having a bottle of wine a night and maybe not dealing with their feelings. I mean, are you what do you do to help you stop going back down that route?
Me personally now, I have since that the seizure where I nearly died, I haven't once, hand on heart, wanted to drink. There's no way I will ever drink ever again. But for the first year, I really struggled with kind of boredom. I was like, what do I do? You know, so I've found now that my new addiction is work. It's doing courses. I love learning because I have got a brain, and I do.
You have definitely got a brain.
I love to push myself. Luckily, I really enjoy the gym as well. That's been consistent in my life for years. So I always sort of say to people, find a hobby, find something that you enjoy. Either you can do it with yourself or with your children or with your family or anything like that just sort of gives you a bit of a boost. I always tell people to go to the gym because honestly, it's been a lifesaver for me. But the first year it was a struggle, and I did hide myself away because I felt like I couldn't go to parties or anything because people would think I'm boring. Whereas once I got over that and realised actually people that are drunk and repeating themselves are the boring ones.
Yeah, that's true.
So now, you know, once you sort of get a bit of self-confidence and you build yourself back up and you realise you're a decent person, you can go out to functions, you can have really lovely conversations with people, and you don't need a drink.
Do you know what? I realised this when I started working in a bar. Everyone was like with boyfriends, getting engaged and all that, and that just wasn't my thing in my 20s. I couldn't think of anything where, you know me from the beginning. But so I got a job in a bar, and obviously I was sober, and I had more conversations and probably met more guys through actually working in a bar because I wasn't drunk. I could remember the conversations, and I really enjoyed it because I was getting paid to be out, to socialise. I wasn't drinking. But I remember that it was such a big influence to say, go on, just have one at the end of your shift. And I was like, you know what, I don't mind driving tonight because I'd wake up fresh, but there was a lot of pressure to be drinking in your 20s. Or you're boring, why don't you come out? Or I don't see you. But I think what people need to realise, like you said as well, there's other things, like when people going through traumas, they just want to go out all the time, maybe going for a breakup. There's other things out there to learn who you are as well, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Hobbies.
Yeah.
And that don't involve alcohol.
No, I mean, I go for coffee with people.
Yeah.
You know, and I do go to AA. I go to Alcoholics Anonymous as well. I don't go as often as I used to, but that's obviously been a big part of me getting sober. But obviously, if you're not an alcoholic, there's plenty of things you can do with your friends and your family that don't involve alcohol. Like the things that I do now, I never did when I was drinking. You know, go visiting places. Pardon?
We've done a full circle. We're like having so year 7 of drinking. Do you do your horse riding?
No, I don't do horse riding anymore. No. But I could if I wanted.
This is it. You were so talented, like even with your drawing, you were getting A stars, and I was just like in awe of you. I was like, this girl, crazy. But
I'm going to Madrid in June. I'm going to college in Madrid just for a week to do an intensive Spanish course because I really want to move to Spain eventually with my business. That's my dream.
Oh,
amazing.
put it on that vision board.
Pardon?
Put it on that vision board.
It's on there.
And can I ask, has like spirituality like helped you in any way?
Massively.
Like the kind of stuff.
Right, so go back a few years when my youngest daughter was born. 6 weeks after, I actually had a really bad car crash. I drove into a tree. I had to be defibrillated on the site. I was in St George's for a long time. But at that point, my nan, who had died just after my eldest was born, was dead. No, this is my other nan. This is my mum's mum.
Yeah.
Even though she was dead, I vividly remember when I had that crash, she was there with me. And my nan was very, very spiritual. And she had guides and whatnot. And she was there. And she actually said to me, Kate, you need a bloody good kick up the arse, because that's how my family talk. But I've always known that I've got sort of connections to a higher power. There's something out there that's kept me alive. I'm not religious in any way, shape or form. I'm very connected to nature. My nan was there with me that night, and I can't explain that, but, you know, I came back to life because I believe my nan was there with me. And it's really difficult to explain, but I meditate a lot. And if I need answers to a question, I will meditate and I will ask. I'll ask my higher power. And in one way or another, I get the answers. And I know that the things that I've survived, there's something out there looking out for me, you know, something bigger than what we can see.
That's amazing.
Making me emotional.
I know. So it's just so much that what we're into as well, because I think meditation, that's helped me at my very, very lowest points. I never knew even how to meditate, and I remember going to a class in Croydon and they were all silent for an hour, and I was like after 5 minutes I was twitching. I was like, I can't do this for an hour. I've been doing nothing. And I think it is actually harder for the younger generation now to do a meditation, because our brains, like with things like TikTok, Instagram, whatever, we've got that 30 seconds brain span. So to meditate is like pushing you to like that, your brain, and it's just learning how to switch off like that conscious and unconscious. But it really saved me in my lowest points in my life as well, meditation. I think it's so amazing that you feel, it's not that, I think if lots of people do it, you'd feel like it's a sense of being what's the word, looked after a little bit by like a higher power, exactly like you said, and just calling upon that power when you need it. But I think you're such an inspiration to so many people. Like, I really feel like you had to go through this, and I really hope you do coaching, because I think you'll be phenomenal.
I'm going to, but I'm one of these people who every now and then I get the self-doubt thinking, am I really good enough to do that?
I think You are
Bloody
already.
are.
I think you are already. Like, even from us having this chat, I think you will.
I can see you doing TED
Oh
Talks.
gosh, I think you'll inspire so many people. And from your journey, like, you've had so many situations from, it sounds like, from hearing it in your life, like that, where you've been to very near, well, death experience.
Yeah.
And like to come back from that, like more than once from the car crash just alone, that is very traumatic. And then like the addiction side, I think even just that alone, to get through them things, you have to be a very, very strong person. And to be that, you should just definitely just give yourself like a pat on the back for that. Just that is just like, I'd give you, me and Paisley would like jump on you and give you a cuddle now. And
Oh,
because like,
I
it's
miss
just,
your friendship. It was like,
we both burst into tears at Oaks Park. I was
I think you
like,
that, you know, like, because you are quite controversial as well, like,
yeah.
it's like Marmite, isn't it? And I always felt like you never bored me. We always could say how we felt. We just were mad. But obviously you went off on a little bit of a like different journey, and we couldn't connect again. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
it's that situation of a train, isn't it? It's that train, you're on your train, and then people go off your train and then come back on your train. I think you come back on Paisley's train again, and your train, Paisley's come back on your train, and you'll be on the train, and then you'll go off on another journey. It's just life, isn't it? Like, you know, it's
And your mum and dad, I love them because they were like another mum and dad to me.
God, they're still going strong. My nan died though. She died a couple of years ago. The nan that you remember. And I got to talk at her funeral. See, that was another big thing as well. If I'd still been drinking, I wouldn't have even known about the funeral because no one would have wanted me there. But I got asked to read out a favourite phrase from the Bible. My nan loved the Bible. And that meant so much to me because my nan was just brilliant, wasn't she? She was hilarious. And
she was funny.
We were really, really close. She always stood up for me, you know, even when things got really bad. She was always there to have a laugh. And just to be sober at her funeral and do that with all the family, it was just huge. It really was. So,
It's achievements, isn't it? And I think no one should beat themselves up about their past. Everybody's got something that's gone on, but it's about how you're changing yourself, your self-esteem going forwards. And it is a bit of a journey, and I think if the life was all one straight road, it would be pretty boring.
It would be boring. And I don't like the thought of people feeling guilty. Guilt and shame is one of the worst things, and it destroys you, you know? Like, I would never judge anyone. I just don't. And my daughters are the same. They're the most compassionate, caring people because they've seen so much and they understand so much. You know, honestly, they're wise beyond their years, and
they're beautiful. They're like models, all three of them.
Bless them. It terrifies me when they go out. I'm like, oh no. But so really,
where's yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, 5 years. Hopefully my business will still be going from strength to strength. I really, really want to get into coaching. And just helping people get back on their feet, you know, because I think everyone's got the potential to do well. You just need the confidence, and you need to realise that you can do it. And that's what I really want to do, you know, and help other women build their own little businesses up. Just reach their potential, basically.
What's the one thing you'd say to our audience for a word of advice, and we can leave it on a high?
Never give up. That's always been my thing. Never ever give up. And that's about it, really. So
amazing. Thank you. I'm so pleased you came on. Like,
amazing. And I didn't even know like what you've been through, and just like talk about it. It's just, I think you're amazing. I think you're such an inspiration to start, and I really hope you do coaching, because I think you'll inspire so many people. And I know you would have inspired all our listeners today, because you've inspired me, you've inspired Paisley, and it's always, remember that little thing at the back of your mind saying never give up. Like, and it's also not letting you, yourself be defeated, you know, and that self-confidence and everything else. So no, I think you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been really nice.
We'll have to catch off offline, and I'll get booked in because my tummy, I'm going to say it in. Oh, so yeah, we are you going on holiday soon?
Hold on, when am I going on holiday? Friday. I completely forgot about that. You're so free.
Oh, Barbados, I
love it. One place I wanted to go. You're going to have a great time.
Oh, we've been twice before. We go every year. See, that's another thing. All-inclusive holidays. Everyone's drinking around me. I'm like, yeah, it's great. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
That's amazing. That is so good. See,
love it.
Anybody else out there can as well.
Are we going to see you soon? Doing your coaching, we'll get you back on.
Yeah, definitely. We want to get you back on.
Oh, I'll catch up with you offline.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so open.
Yeah, thank you for letting us, you know, inspiring a lot of people.
I hope so.
So if you want to find Kate, do you want to say your Instagram handle?
Yes, Momentum Sculpt and Massage. That's my main business page.
Okay, and we'll put it all on our socials, and DM us if you want to find out a little bit more information, and we'll send it all to you. And have a lovely day, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. See you later. Bye.